for me, there's a Japanese artist called Tadanori Yoko, and he says instead of I think I am, he says I make I am. And so this is being human for me is to relate to the rest of the world, and for me to relate to the rest of the world is I can only do it by creating something. I guess why I've been making stuff non-stop. And I graduated art school with social sculpture. So with my art, I try to do something in a hyper-local way. So almost everything is about my own city, The Hague. And so this is why all these different projects came to me, I guess. So there's PIP, Primus Inter Pares, which is a nightclub, but also 2 record labels and a book publishing agency. And all these different sort of social projects that go with it. And then there's my own art. And then there's a lot of, as you say, podcast Bakkie Bakkie about electronic music, but there's also a podcast about friendship and about art and all these different things. It's an amazing world. Constantly thinking and redirecting and thinking about the place. And now we get support from the municipality. So we wrote some plans and now we get money for every time 4 years. So now we're in the 2nd term. So this really gives us a creative space to slowly grow and keep thinking about what our position is. And it's really a home away from home. So we call it the buurthuis van de toekomst. It's a community center which should be always about tomorrow. And we have about 60,000 visitors a year. It's so diverse. It became an organism on itself, actually. But now, I mean, 15 years in it, we definitely established, I think, in not just The Hague, but the Netherlands, and also in relation to Europe and the rest of the world. We have super nice exchanges with Tresor, one of the most famous clubs in Berlin, but also small venues like Garage in Paris or iBoat in Bordeaux and House of Yes in New York and Anagra in Tokyo. So it's also about sharing knowledge and being together with like-minded people all around the world. We're actually one of the few venues, I think, that we don't have a door policy. So one of our basic ideological starting points is radical hospitality. Even if there's people on the street that are just walking by, one of us, our staff of me, will just go out and be like, "Hey, how are you doing? Don't you want to come in?" People will be like, so radical hospitality. So there should always be a place for our visitors. There should always be room for experiment. There should always be room for failure. There should always be a place for social breathing, in a sense. In the Netherlands, every single centimeter, every single square meter is planned. Where you should bike, where you should sit, where you should eat. We wanted to create a small place, a small island in this over-regulated society where you can have a small fire if you really want to, where you can push and shove, where you can meet the unexpected, where you can experiment, where you can join instead of walking into this finished facade and only consume. One is what's the biggest challenge, and on the other hand, staying relevant is a strange thing, because what is relevant? We're definitely living in the post-COVID period. We've been able to reach a new young generation. This really made us realize that we're definitely still needed for us to be there, in a sense. And one of the things that is super important is when we started PIP, me and my partner David, there was no intention to build a nightclub. It was only the intention to build a place, to create a place, a space where we would like to go. And I think this is still our basic intention. So it's not about money, it's not about fame or whatever thing, or it's not about getting the biggest artist or the best sound system. No, it's about people. We make this world. We are what makes us human. Not something else, not this chair that I'm sitting on or this specific fabric that's been created or whatever. No, it's us. We make it. As long as it stays human and as long as it's a place that keeps surprising ourselves and we keep interacting with new people, then that's the best thing in the world. So I think the biggest challenge is just getting old and dying. That's just the biggest challenge of them all. We're just getting older. And so I'm 41 right now, and we're in it now for 15 years, and We've decided already 3 years ago, when things were super we didn't know if we wanted to continue. Maybe it was 4 or 5 years ago. We weren't sure if we wanted to continue or really stop with everything. And then we actually talked about it for a long time, and we decided we will never stop. As long as me and David are alive, Pip is going to be here. And so I guess this is our biggest challenge, not to die. The regular running time for a nightclub in the Netherlands is 5 to 6 years. Since the 80s, 80% of all nightclubs have been closed down. And this is due to all these different factors. Social media, but also people experiencing festivals and music and going out completely in a different way. In the 80s, you really had to go to a club to meet other people, and now you have all these apps or all these different places that you can meet other people. But at the same time, cities are getting more dense, so nightclubs are being pushed out to the side. So we have created PIP, which is in an industrial area in our city, and we've been running now for almost 16 years. So as you say, picking artists and all these things, it's been going up and down. The first 4 years we had no permit whatsoever, so it was an illegal club. We got closed down by police. It just grew gradually. We don't really believe in a place which is like built with a lot of money and then finished completely, so it's changing the whole time. And the first maybe 8 years or 7 years, I did all the bookings and all the artworks myself with my partner, but we only booked friends.